Hello everyone and welcome to the first in the series of my new videos. So this set of videos we will be reviewing that's the other ones, Game of Thrones Season 6, which is very exciting. It started to air on Monday with episode 1 and we will be reviewing each episode in turn just like I'm doing with my Gotham videos. If you haven't watched them and you're a fan of Gotham, go check them out. You can find them on my channel page. So yeah, as always with these kind of videos, just a quick spoiler alert about last night's episode, plus be back into Season 5 for 3, 2 and 1, depending on what I need to speak about to make my review make sense. And also, my videos hopefully will be slightly different with some visual aids, just like my Gotham ones, but hopefully I will be able to speak over the top of them. And also, I should just mention, I'm going to do the Game of Thrones ones by geography and not by character. When I'm talking about each section, because if I talk about it by character, we could be here for hours because there's about 25 main characters. So I'll just mention them as and when it's appropriate, based on the geography of the world that we're in, which is the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros and the continent of Essos, which is the next one along on its right hand side. So yeah, let's get started with Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 1. Hope you enjoy the video. So yeah, anyone who knows me will know that I am a massive Game of Thrones fan. As you can see, I've got my House Lannister canvas print up here. I don't really support the House Lannister that much, but it was the only one I could find and I absolutely love. I support all the houses. I love them all. And up here, I don't know if you can see it all, but this is my Game of Thrones All Men Must Die poster. Anyone who's familiar with the show will know All Men Must Die translates into Valar Morghulis, which is what we hear quite a lot. And also behind me behind the camera, I've got my Game of Thrones calendar, which you can't see, and the box sets are on my DVD cabinet behind me as well, or behind you on the camera. So yeah, let's start off with the title, just like we do with my Gotham reviews. So the Season 6 premiere was titled The Red Woman. Now the title, I guess because the main focus and the ending was about Melisandre, who's often nicknamed the Red Priestess or the Red Woman. And also it was a quote from the episode, as it always is with Game of Thrones. We always, all the episodes for Game of Thrones are usually titled with a quote from the show. So yeah, just a little fun fact for you if you've never noticed that before. So my 5 words are under for this, as I'm going to do with Gotham as I do with Game of Thrones, the other way around, Game of Thrones as I do with Gotham. I have 3 words this week. Where next? Westeros? ? So it could be 4. Because I want to know what's going to happen next. I'm so excited for episode 2 even. So we're going to start off with our first location, and the locations I'm going to do in order of when they appear on the title sequence. So it will be, in the order that they come around on the title sequence. And hopefully you will see the visual aids with them. So I am going to start off in King's Landing. Now, Jaime returned with Marcella's body, which was extremely sad. I found that quite upsetting actually. I don't know why. It was just a little bit desensitive, I think, of Jaime to have it so obviously there. I don't know. I felt really sorry for Cersei, and that's something I never thought I'd say because I've never felt sorry for Cersei. In fact, I didn't feel sorry for Cersei until Season 5, Episode 10, which was when she did her Walk of Atonement. That was the first time I really felt sorry for her. And I liked Jaime's speech about going to take back everything and more, which was exciting, and I can't wait to see them do that, him and Cersei together. Marjorie seems to be adamant about not confessing. She's still in a prison cell beneath, I don't know where she's actually. I think she's in the Sept actually. She might be below the Sept of the Seven. And Tommen was absent, as was Bronn. Now I want to know, did Bronn wait on the ship? Did he not come ashore into King's Landing, or has he gone somewhere else? Maybe they dropped him off on the way back so he could be with his betrothed? I don't know. It just seemed a bit odd to me that Bronn wasn't anywhere to be seen this episode. Now let's move on to Winterfell and the North. Now, Ramsay came to terms with Miranda's death. It was so lovely to see him say nice things about her. And then he went in true Ramsay style and said to the maester to feed to feed her even to the dogs. True Ramsay style, as always. Ramsay Bolton, the bastard of the Dreadfort. Charming as man as always, just completely and utterly confused as to his position in life, I think. He just seems to he's a nice fellow to Miranda when she was alive, and now suddenly she's dead and he wants to feed her to the dogs. Reasoning? There is none. Now, Sansa and Theon were running from Ramsay's men when who should show up? Brienne and Podrick, and they had an amazing fight scene this week. And Brienne is now in Sansa's service. Hooray! I mean, that's brilliant because it means that now Brienne feels like she's fulfilled her oath to Lady Stark, or to Catelyn Stark, or at least half of it, because now she can protect Sansa. She might not have Arya yet, but she can still protect Sansa, which is good. Now let's move on to our next location on the map, which is the Wall. Now I think it's pretty safe to say that we can conclude that Jon Snow is dead. Now as much as I don't want that to be true, I think we have to conclude it. And I like the fact that Davos and a few members of the Night's Watch are protecting his body from Alistair Thorne. However, that does mean that there's only like 5 or 6 people that are still loyal to Jon, which is really sad because he was a fantastic character. Dolorous Ed has gone to find the wildlings and get their help, which I think is really good. However, it does mean that there's one less person guarding Jon's body, and will the wildlings be allowed into Castle Black to fight the rest of the Night's Watch? If that happens though, will we not wipe out the Night's Watch and that would be a bad thing for the realm? I don't know, it seems a bit odd to me. I thought it was funny when Davos asked for mutton if he was going to leave the castle. He wanted to feed him because he's not a very good hunter. And the ending of the episode did happen at the Wall, but I will discuss that at the end because I want a little bit of a separation from the rest of the storyline because I think it was a very weird ending and I'm going to discuss it later. So now we move over to Braavos, where Arya is still blind, which is making me quite angry, or not me quite angry, but it's making me angry that she is angry because I love Arya, and I think the fact that she's really upset that she can't see anymore is quite upsetting for me because I've always rooted for Arya. She's one of my favourite characters in the series, and to have her kind of not be able to see anything is really sad. The scene with the waif, who is played by the brilliant Faye Marseille, she was in The White Queen, if you've ever seen that. She was Anne Neville, who was married to Richard III, and she was brilliant in that. And I just think she's brilliant in this as well. I do feel a bit sorry for Arya because she did get beaten up by her quite a bit, which is a bit sad actually. I don't know how you feel about that, but it was a bit sad for me, I felt. Over in Meereen, Tyrion and Varys are still trying to rule, but the Sons of the Harpy are still awry, which is a little bit dangerous for them. Varys is trying to find their leader, which is good. However, a fire started in the harbour. Now, was it accidental or deliberate? And if it was deliberate, who started it? I've heard some theories today about it. I've been talking to some people about it today, and I reckon it was the Sons of the Harpy. But one of my friends said maybe it was Drogon, because Drogon seemed to have disappeared, and maybe it was Drogon who set the fire off, who burnt the harbour because he wanted revenge on the people of Meereen for stabbing him with spears. But I don't think I'm not entirely sure the dragons are that intelligent. Although he seemed to know that Daenerys was in trouble last season when he came down in the Dance of Dragons to rescue her from the fighting pit. So maybe they are intelligent, and maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, but I don't know. Jorah and Daario are searching for Daenerys. I think they're hilarious together, them two. I love them. I just love them being together. I think as a team, they're fantastic. It was like Tyrion and Jorah last season. I really loved them, seeing them together. And also Brienne and Jaime in seasons 2 and 3 when they were travelling towards King's Landing together. I think they're like another comedy coupling. Now Daenerys has been captured by a rival Carl, who's Carl Morrow. I think it's pronounced, or Morrow, something like that. She played the Married to Drogo card, which was quite impressive, I thought, that she's kind of doing that. And it was quite funny to see them realise that she could speak Dothraki. And I think the Dothraki have been they were funny tonight, on Monday night, during the Season 6 premiere, which you've never seen that before. I've never really seen the Dothraki be quite funny. Now the Married to Drogo card seems to have worked, except she is now being taken to Vace Dothrak, which has been teased in the trailer, I might add, to join the, I think it's the Dosh Khaleen, I think that's how you pronounce it, I can't remember it from the books. I remember it from the books, but I can't remember, I think it's Dosh Khaleen, which is kind of the widow, where the widows of all of the Carls have to go, and it's like these old witch hovels. They were basically all these old wise women who kind of give advice to the Carls and their Khalasars and things. It's all a bit weird. And finally then, let's look at Dawn. Now, Alaria Sand and the Sand Snakes murdered Prince Doran this week, along with his guard with the amazing axe, which we never got to see used. I'm hoping one of the Sand Snakes or somebody's going to use it, because I want to see that axe used. Because it's such a beautiful axe, and he's always so far all we've seen him do is walk around. The Dawn storyline has actually been a bit of a disappointment. In fact, last night it was exciting, I felt. But the Dawnish storyline for season 5 was just boring. It just didn't go anywhere. Maybe that's because it was supposed to be set in Dawn or not. I don't know. I haven't got to that bit in the books, so I don't know whether it's exciting in the books or not. But it just wasn't interesting in the show that much. And also, they murdered his son Trystane. That's Prince Doran's son Trystane. I want to know, will Alaria and the Sand Snakes go on to rule Dawn? Because they said that weak men won't rule anymore, which gives me the idea that strong women are going to take over, which to me would be the Sand Snakes and Alaria, which would be quite interesting, I think. So finally then, let's talk about the ending. Now, Melisandre took her clothes off as usual. She always seems to take her clothes off of people, which just seems to be the way. She looked in the mirror and then she took off her ruby necklace. Like, you know, it was this ruby that we've always seen at her throat, apart from one episode of season 4, which is what I want to come back to in a second. And then suddenly we changed, the reflection became an old woman, and we didn't really notice it. And then it turned round, and there she was, this old woman, all wizened, and, you know, all this horrible wrinkles, and, like, you know, all of her flesh was really saggy and horrible. I want to know, is Melisandre really that old, or is it just that the power of the Lord kept her looking young, but she's only about 30, 40, but yet the magic has worn off and it's only made her go really old, like you see in some fantasy things. And if she is that old, why reveal it now? Whether she's going to sacrifice herself to save Jon, maybe? It seems a bit odd to me. Well, what I want to know is, there's a few fan conspiracies here, conspiracy theories about if it's the necklace keeping her young. Why was that not revealed in a previous season? I think it was season 4 where she took a bath and she was naked then, and she took her ruby off, and she was still the beautiful woman that was Caris Van Houten. But what I want, there's one thing that I'm really, really confused about, and what I'm wondering is maybe she's always looked like that, and it's only the true believers in the Lord of Light, like the Lady Selyse, Stannis Baratheon's wife even, who died in season 5, whether it's her, she could always see the ugliness and her oldness, and whether that's why she was never really that bothered with her hanging around Stannis, because she thought, well, Stannis would never love a beautiful, an ugly old woman like her. He's got me. However, I'm wondering whether it's only the non-believers of the Lord of Light, or the weak believers like Stannis, like Davos, who can see her for the beautiful woman that she actually is, or that she should be, because she's trying to tempt them, and if she tempts them to go with her, that will bring them into the Lord of Light. I don't know whether that's me being a bit overthinking it, but I don't know, that's what I've heard, or that's what I've looked at, and I've read that, and I'm thinking that's more likely to be the truth. However, will we find out the truth now? If she dies, we won't, or we might, by some other Red Priestess, who was supposed to be teased as well to be coming into this season, so at some point we're getting another Red Priestess, maybe from a Shy. Now, Bran is still absent, and I feel like we need him back now, and maybe Rickon as well, because we've been told he's coming back this season, and I felt like he was going to be in the first episode because he was completely absent from season 5. I was like, can we have him back, please? And he just didn't turn up, which is a bit disappointing. Now, my conclusion for this episode, it was a brilliant season opener with the traditional style of Game of Thrones, even though they have surpassed the point that the books are at. Which is quite exciting. I feel like they've done that now, because it means that we get completely new material, and the book lovers actually don't know what's going to happen, which means they're all in the same boat as us that have seen the TV programme but haven't read all of the books yet, or haven't read any of the books. I'm almost halfway through in fact I'm over halfway through the book series now, of the 5 that have come out so far, or the 7 if you're counting books 3 and 4, book 3 and 5 in 2 parts. So my overall rating for this episode this week then was 8 out of 10. Because, as I said, it was a good episode, but I still think that we need Bran back. And also, I don't know, maybe it's just because the Dawn storyline felt rushed again. I'm really disappointed with Dawn, actually. I wish they'd just get me... I want some more storyline from Dawn, but I want something that's more substantial, not something that I can just look at and go, well, that's not exciting, really. So yeah, hopefully next week's episode will be a 9 or even a 10. I feel like Game of Thrones will be the series that I can award a 10 out of 10 to. Gotham I just can't at the moment. It's just not good enough to award a 10 out of 10, but I'm hoping Game of Thrones will get me up there into the 9.5s and the 10s. Possibly by about episode 9, because that's normally the climatic episode of the seasons.